Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our group members, my name is Nurul Nadia binti Muhammad Azmi and Haroza binti Pandi. Our group choose topic the theories of intercultural communication as a topic assignment. Intercultural communication theories. The key concept in understanding intercultural communication is the concept of stranger according to Gabriela 2008. Intercultural communication as the sharing of information about different level of awareness and control between people with different cultural background, where different cultural backgrounds encompass national cultural differences related to participation in various activities available in the national unit, according James Allwood, 1985. Ting Tommy S. 1999 said the intercultural communication occurs when individuals influenced by different cultural societies negotiate common meanings in interactions. Goodikans WB 2003 said what is considered intercultural communication depends in part on what is perceived by culture. A number of authorities, such as Goodikans, limit the term intercultural communication to refer only to communication between individuals of various races. Under the biggest theory, intercultural of communication, we focus on specific theories, which is theory CAT, Communication Accommodation Theory. Miller 2005 said, accommodation refers to the way in which individuals monitor and adjust their behavior while interacting. Accommodation is also the ability to adjust, change, or regulate one's behavior in response to others, and it's usually done unconsciously, according West and Tanner 2010. The key concept of this theory are accommodation, convergence, divergence, and maintenance. The importance of intercultural communication theories in communication. The first one, understanding your own identity. Second, enhancing personal and social interaction. Third, resolve misunderstandings, miscommunication, and mistrust. Fourth, enhance and enrich the quality of civilization. Fifth, be an effective citizen of our national society. Understanding your own identity. The first reason to learn intercultural communication is to develop a sensitivity to various cultural heritage and backgrounds to better understanding your own identity. Through the experience of living and growing up, we will truly appreciate and understand our own religion, heritage, culture, and language. Your decision about the values you want to adopt or continue to hold, the lifestyle or orientation you want to follow, and even the friends you want, let alone the main job or profession you want, are influenced by race, culture, gender, and social class factors that influence your personal identity, who you are and who you want to be. Enhancing personal and social interaction. The broader your view, the more tolerant and accommodating you become. The opportunity to have close personal interaction with those who are different from you, whether in age, physical ability, gender, ethnicity, class, religion, race, or nationality increases every day. Such relationships help you learn about the world, break stereotypes, and acquire new skills. Resolving misunderstanding, miscommunication, and mistrust. Until recently, our country has not learned to be multicultural competence. The study of intercultural communication will not only open closed doors for a generation as it will open those doors and does. Resolve misunderstanding, miscommunication, and mistrust through honest, open, positive, healthy communication. People are not only afraid, but they also do not believe in the unknown. Trust is gained through knowledge and understanding. Enhancing and enriching the quality of civilization. Recognizing and respecting ethnic and cultural diversity is an important step in the journey to assessing the ways in which diversity enhances and enriches the quality of our civilization. According to Carlos Cortez, many multicultural people today seem unprepared to deal with the growing factor of intermarriage. Too much multicultural education is shaped into a kind of group casteity paradigm when in fact intermarriage is one of the big changes that happens when you considering the potential of new perspectives, cultural views, and unique insight that can be generated by marriage between couples. There is no doubt about the appropriate improvement in the quality of our civilization. Be an effective citizen of our national community. The national community is a cultural group in the country. The national community was established from the beginning of our ancestors' acquired land. Studies by the Bureau of Population Reference show that by 2050 there will be a global society in which nearly half of all citizens will come from today's racial and ethnic minorities.
Communication accommodation theory. It's a communication theory based on the principles of social identity theory. When members of a group are dissimilar, they will compare them. If the comparison is favorable, a favorable social identity will emerge. Giles and Oge expand on this idea by stating that the same holds true for a person's speech style, such as accent, tone, steps, and distraction patterns. This theory is based on the idea that when people interact, they adjust their speech, vocal patterns, and/or behavior to accommodate others. This theory has the following assumptions. The first one is similarities and differences in speech and behavior manifest in all boosting. The degree to which people accommodate others will differ depending on their experiences and backgrounds. The more similar our behavior and beliefs are, the more eager we are to accommodate the other person. The second one is the way we view the speech and the behavior of others will determine how we judge conversation. This presumption lies in perception and judgment. People first know what goes on in conversation before they decide how they will act in bragging. Then understanding the words and actions of another person leads to our assessment of that person. The next one is language and behavior informs social status and collective expertise. It relates to the impression of language on others. The language used in bragging tends to reflect individuals with higher social status. And the last one is lodging is different in terms of suitability and norms that guide the lodging process. It focuses on norms and issues regarding social suitability. Lodging may vary in terms of social suitability, so there are times when the placement. There are four key concepts of communication accommodation theory. The first one is accommodation. Miller defines accommodation as the ways in which individuals monitor and adjust their behavior while interacting. Accommodation is the ability to adapt or change the behavior of those with whom we interact, which usually occurs unconsciously. The second one is convergence. Giles, Nicholas Kaplan, and Justin Kaplan define that convergence is a strategy by which individuals adapt to each other's communicative behaviors. When people converge, they focus on their perceptions of other people's behavior. Convergence is based on interest, which includes several characteristics such as charisma and credibility. The third one is divergence. It's a strategy used by one or both communicators to highlight the differences of each communicator, whether verbally or non-verbally. And the final one is maintenance. When an individual's communicative pattern remains stable throughout the interaction, indicating that there is no attempt to be perceived as similar or the need to demonstrate differences. Goals of communication. Communication can be defined as the process of transmitting information and common understanding from one person to another. It's the creation or exchange of thought, ideas, emotions, and understanding between senders and receiver. There are four goals of communication theory, which are description, prediction, control and understanding, explanation, and reform. Description. One of the most important goals of communication is to pass or receive information about a specific fact or situation. It can be done using either oral or written language, as well as other sign or gesture systems. Individuals and groups will benefit greatly from the information gathered. It assists them in making decisions by identifying, analyzing, and evaluating data, as well as considering alternative options. For example, to help counter the COVID-19 pandemic, employers should provide information on standard operating system or SOP that need to be practiced by all employees while performing their respective duties. For example, SOP for conducting a course, such as the number of participants who can attend the course at one time, body temperature check before entering the course room, and the distance of the participants positioned in the course room. Prediction, control, and understanding. We communicate to gain understanding and to gather information. A good communication in the workplace is very necessary in helping us to understand each other, avoid misunderstandings, and of course, will give each other a sense of comfort. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemics, an employer provided information through WhatsApp, Telegram, or email to expose their employees to self-regulatory practices in terms of healthcare, hygiene, and educate them about the dangers of COVID-19. This information is important to prevent employees from being infected, as well as to ensure that all employees receive every current instruction easily and quickly. Explanation. Communication plays an important role in building relationships. We communicate with others with the hope of forming positive relationships as well as building interpersonal relationships with others. Communication in the organization is not merely to carry out tasks and activities that have been determined by the employer, but it's also designed to create a network of relationships between colleagues and also superiors. For example, when an employee is transferred to a new branch, he or she needs to get acquainted with the new co-workers by communicating with them as well as adapting to the work environment. It may be a bit awkward at first, but after a few weeks of talking and working together, they will get to know each other. Reform. Communication that takes place transparently can create a sense of trust and appreciation between employers and employees. Thus, conflicts and dissatisfaction can be dealt with well through harmonious discussion and social interaction. For example, an employee who is from Sarawak and working in a company in Kuala Lumpur, as a new employee surrounded by employer or colleague from various states, he or she needs to respect them. When in such a situation, employees who have been working in the company for a long time will be more dominant in the workplace, while new employee will try to follow their culture. So in that situation, the new employee will try to do communication accommodation. In this way, the accommodation of communication can be discussed by taking into account the existence of cultural diversity. T.S. Kuhn's concept of meta-theory. Kuhn argues that a theory is relative. It doesn't mean that the theory accepted by many people makes the theory the most accurate. For example, many people today accept the theory that the earth revolves around the sun, as opposed to the theory that the sun revolves around the earth. If the earth refers to our galaxy, the theory of the sun orbiting the earth may not be incorrect due to our future measurement capabilities. It's possible that if the ability to measure in the future develops, where the earth is our galaxy, it turns out to be surrounded by other galaxies in the universe. Kuhn put forward the idea that new discoveries about scientific theory rendered old theories unusable. Scientific theory must be applied from a different point of view. Researchers and scientists today should take lessons from old theories by recognizing, studying, comparing scientific themes with various theories that existed before, with theories that exist and are in use today. According to Kuhn, each new discovery follows the previous one. A researcher will conduct an in-depth and thorough investigation into whether the theory is correct or incorrect and taking into account various previous theories. Then create a new theory that is universally accepted. The existence of a new theory as a result of this scientific revolution will initially be opposed, and its scientific truth will be tested by the scientific community itself. Only then can the theory be accepted in the world of science. For example, the political revolution in Malaysia in 2018, the results of the 2018 Malaysian general election, which show that there was opposition from the people to change the dominance of the Barisan Nasional Party to rule the Malaysian government. Political revolutions show that there was a revolt or resistance in society against the government of the country at that time. When there are imbalance and various political actions of the governments that do not meet the will of the people, it provokes opposition from the people. This is a form of rejection by those who want reform, either in terms of the leaders in opposition power or the party that dominates the Malaysian government. The new government needs to learn from the mistakes made by the previous government by fixing the weakness and bringing more change to the country and the people.
There are three orientations of meta theory. The first one, ontology; second, epistemology; and third, axiology. Ontology. Ontology studies the nature of reality and the nature that can be known in the social sciences and communication. It tends to the nature of the social world, people or group, and processes in this world. This ontology is divided into three types of position, which is realist position, nominalist position, and social constructivist position. In the realist position, they are the ones who believe the social world is more important than the physical world because the structures out there make them independent of individual perception. For example, social media applications such as WeChat. Through the WeChat application, users get new contact via the shake it buttons. Many users do not know each other but are free to reply to messages until they decide to meet physically. This shows that the WeChat application makes many people make their own things and do not care about other people's perception of it. Second, epistemology. Epistemology is concerned with the question of the creation and growth of knowledge. Refers to what is considered knowledge and what we know, the relationship between people knowing and being known, and how knowledge of the social world is collected. An example of epistemology is a teacher who teaches students to acquire knowledge. During the pandemic COVID-19, the learning system also changed where the Ministry of Education Malaysia decided that the learning process was done by online and cannot meet face-to-face because it wanted to stop the COVID-19 pandemic network from spreading. The third one is axiology. Axiology is known as the study of values, which discusses three thoughts on the role of values in research and theory. Among them is that evolution is like distinguishing between the context of a finding in which a research problem is selected and a research hypothesis is examined and critically evaluated. An example of axiology is that the government has made various research on the economy of the people in Malaysia. When pandemic COVID-19 happened, the country's economy was severely affected. Many people lost their job, lost sources of income, and so on. In the process of helping the affected people, the Prime Minister has agreed to provide various ways to help the people, including the Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, which helped the P14 group to ease their burden. That's all from our group. Thank you.